to TTL F1. We are here for League 1. This is season 17, round 5 of the championship, as we take in the Hungarian Grand Prix from Magna Nadezhd at the Hungaroring. Of course, I'm James Head, going to be taking you through the stream here tonight. You may be wondering where my co-commentator is currently out on within the commentary box. He's not here at the minute. He's having a few technical issues on his end. His download speed has gone to complete and utter pot. But I can assure you that you're going to be kept safe, hopefully, in the knowledge that we will have a double commentary team here tonight. I've just given Kevin an invite back to the party, but we should be getting back underway. We should be getting underway, as I say, very soon indeed. There are possible problems with PSN currently, so hopefully all will go according to plan. I mean, it's quite weird, to be honest. Everything's fine on my end, but on Kevin's end, it's not so fine. It's a bit strange, to be honest. Very strange indeed, but hopefully we do get some good racing here tonight in Hungary. And let me run you through what happened last week in Germany. It was Karlsruhe. For only the third time this season, a driver who took pole actually got the win. So Karlsruhe took the win in Germany, VRT Schiaparelli in second, with Dill Warren in third. Toro Rosso, Williams and Mercedes on the top three. And that replicates really what I've just said. Carlsberg taking the pole and the win. Thomas is the only other person to have done that so far this season. And that was, of course, in the first round of the championship in Bahrain. Season 17, round 4, stick 'em up driver of the day was Dill Warren in the Mercedes. Produced a very good performance last time out to finish in P3, and oh my god, it could have finished even better if we had another couple of laps in Germany. Dill was catching the two leaders like a bat out of hell, quite literally, and he nearly got the win out on track. What does that do then to the championship standings? Well, Carlsberg is currently in front on 72 points. From Dill Warren in second on 55 points. There is a 17-point gap between the two coming into tonight. VRT Schiaparelli is in third on 44 points, with LRT Thomas in fourth on 37. TTG Toxic is in fifth on 33 points, with Recon in sixth on 32, just a point behind the Red Bull man. Ash Best is in 7th on 29 points, Rafa in 8th on 28, and the top 10 filled out by Leon Bentley and Navy on 16 points respectively. Spike and Carlsbury tied for 11th on 12 points as well. Lighty in 13th on 9, Sean in 14th on 4, tied with Tar Abu, who made his debut last week in Germany, and we see him again in the lobby here tonight. Cass is in 16th on 2 points. Troll and PSC Kelvin, another debutant last week, scoring that 1 point in 10th position in Germany, and Troll also won 1 point as well. And Asheen and the Gort haven't got any points yet, nil points for them. Toro Rosso currently lead the constructors standings, and they are the only constructors so far to score 100 points. On 101 points, Toro Rosso, from Mercedes in second on 92 points, a massive gap, I've got to say, in the constructors to third, which is Renault on 48 points. Williams in fourth on 44, with Red Bull in fifth on 37 points. Haas is in sixth on 32. McLaren is in seventh on 28 points. Racing Point in eighth on 13 points. Alfa Romeo in ninth on 10 points, and in 10th, Ferrari on 2 points. Oh, that is the constructors' standings. I do believe I might have a co-commentator alongside me. Kieran, are you here? That's ended well. Kieran is not here at the moment, so obviously his connection troubles is still troubling them here, but hopefully we can get a very good commentary going for you guys. And 14 drivers here out on track. Kieran has just joined into the lobby, which I'm very pleased to see. He should be joining me in the commentary box very soon indeed, but until then the session has now, well, it is going to be starting in about 20 seconds time. The countdown is running. Apologies if you can hear any background noise, by the way. The clap for the carers is currently going on, and my parents is doing that. And there's a lot of fireworks going off as well, which is very appreciative, but hopefully we're going to see some good action here tonight. And of course we are here at the Hungaroring. This is a track that really beholds really title contenders, and two DRS zones separate the guys out on track, one down the start finish straight, one down towards turn 2 as well, where we saw of course the two Red Bulls make contact back in the day, Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen at turn 2. Then up towards the tricky turn 4, which will always catch out people, and I'm sure it will catch out further people here tonight. The chicanes through 6 and 7 and 8 and 9. Hopefully we're going to be seeing some good overtaking opportunities there. Down towards turn 12, I think, possibly an overtaking opportunity. And then, of course, down into the hairpin at turn 14. And that is pretty much a lap of the Hungaroring. And really going to be a great night of action, as I say. Hopefully, and Kieran has just left the session. We will have to, just looking through, Kieran's saying, by the way, just for his apologies to the stream, if it gets to the end of quality and it isn't fixed, I will leave the race in James's very capable hands. VRT Schiaparelli has also left the session. PSN having a current couple of issues, I think, out on track, but hopefully we're not going to be seeing them here tonight. 14 drivers then await the guys. 14 drivers out on track here tonight. We are missing LRT Thomas and a couple of others as well, but that's because they are taking part in another event, so they're not here tonight. Carlsberg, though, has got a big opportunity, I think, to take the crown here tonight. And I honestly think Carlsberg could take the championship overall, and hopefully we get to see some very good racing here out on track tonight. But as I say, we get on board with our first driver out on track, and it is Dill Warren who is out on track. Recently became another member of the TTG team, which I'm very glad to be on about, and he's on a set of hard compound of tyres. So he's in the Mercedes currently, and he is assigned to that car, of course. Coming into tonight, Dill Warren is in second on 55 points coming into tonight, so he is 17 points off Carlsberg, as I alluded to when we had the driver standings up. Carlsberg currently could try and take this, but Dill Warren on a set of hards could be in with a shout of taking the race win here tonight at the Hungary ring. He's got a racing point in behind him, flying around out on track. Spike not hanging about there in behind him, so these two are going to be quite congested here out on track. And just right on board with Spike, I think he's on a set of soft compound of tyres, which you can probably tell the pace difference here between the two. And Dill Warren coming out of turn 11 and now towards 12, 13 and 14. Chapelelli has joined back the session, and Dill Warren is about to start a lap, but Spike has just gone ahead of him, so we'll go on board with Spike for a lap here in the racing point on a set of soft compound of tyres, and we should see hopefully a good lap here from Spike, who has really been producing some good performances, especially in TTL F2, where we drove to a really very good standard last time out on Tuesday, I think that was. And of course, if you haven't watched that, go and watch that back, TTL F2, because it was absolutely terrific action out on track. But Spike coming through turns 1 and 2 now. He's on the run down towards turn 2, downhill from here, and then uphill towards turn 4, now through turn 3, looking very nice indeed, the racing point man. And he comes towards the end of the first sector, and Spike's first sector is a 27.1. Misses the apex on the outside, but that is an invalidation point as well on the outside of turn 4, and that's exactly what you've seen Spike done. Very tricky for the guys to get a clean lap in here. I have a feeling we might see plenty of invalidations, I think, within qualifying here tonight. We go on board then with the Mercedes. Dill Warren just going onto the grass slightly, but that's to try and prioritise the curb a bit too much. Dill Warren though coming through very nicely indeed. There was a spinner in the background, I do believe. I think that might have been Cass in the Ferrari who had a spin coming through turn 5. Dill Warren though in the meantime is coming through the final couple of corners. It was 55.6 I think through the middle sector for Dill. He's now on board as we go through turn 13. Very tricky 180-degree hairpin there, and now Dill Warren coming through the final corner at turn 14. Looking very nice through there. I think this is going to be 117 to start off with. Dill Warren across the line. Yeah, 117.5. Bang in the middle of the 17s. That's what you like to see. There's a McLaren round. Leon Bentley, I do believe, has had a mistake through turns 2 and 3. Not sure if he might have had something wrong with his setup there. We'll go on board though with Toxic, who has invalidated his lap, but he's on a lap now, or just about to start one. 121 flat, that would have been for an invalid lap. Cass in behind, I think, had a spin, but Recon is out on track as well. So 4 minutes gone currently, and it's still Warren out in front, and the only one to set a lap time currently out on track. Toxic currently in 4th position, but nobody has set a lap, as I say, here tonight. We'll go on board then with somebody else who's coming towards the end of their lap. We'll go on board, I think the Gort is coming through the middle sector here. So the Gort coming through the middle sector in the Williams, as Carlsberg goes to the top of the standings, 16.8, so he takes provisional pole currently. When we're 5 minutes through the session, so you'll see plenty of improvements until right after the flag fall, or when the 18 minutes is pretty much over within qualifying. Gort coming around the final couple of corners, just running out wide there through turn 13. Drivers do tend to do that. Got blistering, I think, on the left front tyre there as the Gort, but he's coming through the final corner now, and he's about to come across the line. It's a 120.3, so he goes third, and he will inevitably improve on that, I'm sure of that. We'll go on board. We'll go back on board then with Toxic in the Red Bull. One of the main championship contenders coming into tonight, and Toxic is coming around the final corner now. Is he going to jump in between Carlsberg and Warren? Yes, he does. 17.3 for the Red Bull man out on track. And that was a good lap there from Toxic. Recon coming around the final corner as well in the Renault, defending champion of course in TTL F1 League 1. Recon across the line just jumps in behind Toxic, so about 500ths of a second separating Toxic and Recon out on track. Second and third for those guys out on track currently. Cass is not on lap. Chapelelli though is the German coming around the final corner. The Williams of course just ahead, and that was the Gort who was obviously in 5th. Chapelelli now jumps up with a 17.8 and goes 5th as well. Cass is not on a lap, I do believe. Sean, though, is, and he's coming around the final couple of corners now. We've got Tarabu also on a lap as well. Sean across the line, 18.4. We'll go on board then with Tarabu, who's in the Red Bull, and he's invalidated his lap, but we're right on board with him anyways. 55.2 through the middle sector. So currently, 7 drivers have currently set a lap, and it's Carlsberg through 1/3 qualifying distance. Takes it currently with a 16.8 from Toxic in second, Recon in third, Dilwarren in fourth, about 7/10 of a second, 7.5 of a second if you're being picky, separating the top 4 out on track. Shepelelli in fifth, Sean in sixth, and the Gorse currently in seventh. We've got Colesbury, I do believe, who's just started up on a lap, so the McLaren man is on a lap. Leon Bentley has just came out the pits as well, so his teammates has just came out the pits. 27.3 there through the first sector for Colesbury, getting turn 4 onto the curb, but getting it quite nice through there. Now through turn 5, he comes towards a very tricky chicane. You can pick up plenty of invalid laps here around Hungary, and honestly, these are really testing times, I think, for the drivers out on track tonight, as he comes flying through the middle sector, halfway through the lap now for Colesbury. He now comes towards turn 11, taking it pretty much nearly flat out, opening into 6th gear through there. 55.1, quickest we've been on board with so far. Cass, by the way, came in with a lap 33.9, bank a lap there from the Ferrari man. At least he got a lap in, which is good to see. Carlsbury coming around the final couple of corners, though. It is currently Carlsberg taking it. Oh, a bit of a slide there from Carlsbury as he comes out through turn 13, now through 14, and he's about to go, I think, just in second here, across the line. He doesn't, he goes fourth. So, yeah, inevitably my predictions going wrong already. 117.5 there for Carlsbury, and he's currently in 4th position out on track. Recon has invalidated his lap. He was 600ths up, however. Same with Chapelletti, who was a 10th up through the first sector. We'll go on board with Cass, who's improving on this lap. The Ferrari man, the Dane, now coming through the middle sector. 55.2 there through the middle sector. Great, respectable middle sector there. He should go in and around Warren Chapelletti sort of area, I think. 5th, 6th, maybe 7th, I think, for Cass. So now comes around turn 13. A very tricky hairpin. You can tell how tight that hairpin actually is by the camber of the corner and the outward-looking camera shot as well through there. Cass coming across the line. That's one of the predictions, at least I've got right. Dilwarren 5th, Cass going into 6th there with a 17.7, and Chapel well, but it is Carlsberg currently out on track with a 16.8. Don't be surprised, by the way, by the tyre compounds that these guys are going on. There's been a spinner in the middle sector. I think it might have been Carlsbury, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's Leon Bentley who has gone round in the middle sector, so another spin for Leon out on track. He's on a set of soft compound of tyres. It's not really surprising. It's not really that surprising to see really drivers making mistakes around this track, because it is a very difficult track to drive, and trust me, I've driven around this track plenty of times before, and it usually goes massively wrong. 57.5 through the middle sector though for Navy. He is currently on a lap, the Dutchman. Yet to set a lap currently, and 5 drivers have not yet set a time out on track. Navy, Lighty, Leon Bentley, Spike and Abu yet to set a lap time, but Lighty I think has just started up on a lap. Yeah, he's just through the first sector there. Navy coming across the line. This will be a bank lap, so he'll go on to his full lap now. We'll ride on board then from a lap of the Hungary ring. Let's take it from his POV shot as he comes down the straight. Very high 7th gear, revs it down towards turn 1. Very nice apex through turn 1. He's on a set of hard compound tyres, remember, so he will get quicker and quicker as the session progresses. Navy coming down towards turn 2. Now looking good through there. Leon, by the way, did get that ballard lap in, 51.2, and I'm sure he will get that in on the set of soft compound tyres. There's a spinner just ahead. I think it's still one who was spun round at turn 5. Very tricky if you get caught on the curb here. You cannot afford to run on the curb there, because you will end up off spinning the car. Navy just comes past him. Good first sector lap from Navy though in the meantime. Oh, just catches the curb through 7 and 8, and then flying through towards 9. Turns 8 and 9, and then in towards turn 10 here, and then towards turn 11. And again, a bit of opposite lock there. Lighty, by the way, has gone 9th with a 19.2, so set of soft compound of tyres doing well there for Lighty. And Navy currently in 11th position out on track, and Navy will be looking to improve on this lap. Leon, I think, has gone round again in that middle sector, but Navy coming around the final couple of corners through 13 and into 14. Again, very tricky corner. If you get caught on the inside apex, I've actually clipped the on-cut barrier there before. Navy across the line goes fourth, just behind his teammates. A very consistent looking grid so far. Carlsberg currently out on top by with a 16.8 out on track, but Toxic yet to set a improvement on his lap, 17.3 in second. Recon is in third, he's just started up on a lap. Navy in fourth with a 17.5. Carlsberg in fifth with a 17.5. Dill Warren in sixth with a 17.5. So you can tell how close it actually is. And featuring Cass and Chapelelli as well for 7th and 8th. Chapelelli has just started up on a lap, I do believe, as well. 27.1 through the middle, through the first sector even for Chapelelli. And 0.5 of a second separating 2nd to 8th currently out on track. This is how tight it normally is around here at the Hungary ring. So we go on board then with Chapelelli, hopping over the curve there through turn 7 and then towards turns 8 and 9. There are green flags just ahead. See somebody having a bit of a moment. May have been Tar Abbey on an outlap, but Chapelelli now coming through the middle sector. Just catches the curve on the outside there, sends him nearly into a half spin, but he set a 54.9 through the middle sector, and Chapelelli could be challenging Carlsberg, who did go second, by the way, on the lap, so 16.9 for Carlsberg out on track. Chapelelli, though, coming around the final couple of corners, and the German looking, hopefully, to try and improve. He's nearly 4 tenths up coming through the middle sector. He's got to get to the line. I think he'll go third with this lap, Chapelelli, across the line. And he does not go third. He goes fourth with a 17.396, so only 300ths separating Toxic currently out on track. 6 minutes to go then. It is Carlsberg from Carlsberg out on track with Toxic now in third. Chapelelli in fourth. Recon fifth, Navy in sixth, Dill Warren in seventh. Destiny has gone on to a set of mediums, which you can see to the top right hand side of your screen. Yet to set a competitive lap time, I think, shown there. Gorse is on a lap though in 10th, with Lighteen 11th, Leon Bentley in 12th, Spike in 13th, and Tar Abu, who we'll go on board with actually. He's coming through the middle sector now. He's running in the Red Bull on a set of soft compounded tyres. He should be going probably quicker than Carlsberg at this stage, 53.8 through the middle sector. You can probably see where this one is going to be ending up going, because Tar Abu is coming around the final couple of corners, and the Norwegian making his debut like a baptism of fire, if I've got to be honest, in a wet Germany last week. Dry conditions here in qualifying so far, and now Tar Abu coming around the final couple of corners, and he is going to go to the top of the standings. What's his lap going to be? To 15.6, 1.2 seconds ahead of Carlsberg, but I've got to be honest, I don't think that's enough for Tar Abu to take pole position. He's the only one that has gone for a difference in strategy here in qualifying. Tar Abu with a 15.6, going nearly 1.2 seconds clear of Carlsberg, who is currently on a lap. He's improving by a 1/10.5 through the first sector, so we're right on board with the Toro Rosso man. Just running wide there slightly, but a 54.4 through the middle sector. He's now nearly 2.5 tenths up, coming through turn 12, and then towards a very tricky hairpin at turn 13. Have a bit of a half spin here, and he will probably lose that amount of time. Carlsberg now coming round in towards turn 14 again. Very nice flowing final couple of corners here at the Hungary ring. So now comes across the line. I think it'll be a 16.5. It is. Carlsberg from 16.5 there. Improves slightly in the final sector. Could have been a little bit better. And just to spot out, oh, I thought he was missing his right side end plate. That's clearly my eyesight going wrong there. So he goes second though, and he improves on his time with a 16.5. We go on board then with the Mercedes man, Dill Warren, with 4 minutes to go in qualifying. Currently sitting in 8th, 17.5 for the Mercedes man out on track. And hopefully Navy will be a bit under threat here, but just saying that, Dill Warren has invalidated his lap out on track. So Dill Warren has invalidated his lap, meaning he is not on a valid lap, meaning he will probably come back into the pits for a final run, maybe on a set of medium compound of tyres. Who knows? He could stay out there to go for a set of hards, but then it'll be pretty much game over in terms of trying to get another run in the qualifying session, and Dill is going to go for another lap here. So right on board with him. I think Toxic is just ahead of him. Sorry, Spike is just ahead of him out on track. Toxic is about to start an out lap as well as Light T. Dill Warren though, just starting up on a lap. Oh, and he's not starting up on a lap because he's literally just parked it there down towards turn 1. Spike coming then through turn 2. He's on a set of hard compound of tyres. Interesting to note, the tyre graphic is wrong on the left hand side. He's not on a set of softs. You can tell by the wall compound of the tyre that is a set of white wall hard compound of tyres, and it's 27.3 through the first sector, and the nicest clip turn 4 I think I've seen so far tonight. Spike coming through towards turn 6 and 7. This very tricky chicane hops over the curb, using a good amount of curb there actually, Spike, not invalidating his lap, now through 8 and 9. Very good series of 90-degree corners through here, now Spike coming through towards turn 11. Nice, 55 flat through the middle sector. He's going to be in and around probably Cass Sean sort of area, I'm imagining, with this lap. And now the racing point. Pink Panther, as we like to call it in Formula 1. Spike is now coming around the final couple of corners. With 2 minutes to go on the clock, he will have to try and fly around to try and get another run in if he so wishes. Spike across the line actually goes 4th with a 17.1, so you can tell my predictions are well off the mark here tonight. Spike 4th with a 17.1. We join Toxic on a set of mediums coming through the middle sector. 17.3 for him out on track. Should find the time through the middle sector. It was 1,000th down through the first sector, so he should find the time through the middle sector here. Now Toxic coming round into the final couple of corners and towards the end of sector 2, and he's now 7/10ths up and a purple middle sector there, so that's probably indicating that's his personal best middle sector, not the personal best middle sector of everyone entirely within qualifying. So Abu currently out on top with a 15.6, and he could be the exception rather than the rule here in Hungary. Toxic coming around the final couple of corners though, across the line, will go second with a 16.4, just ahead of Kalsper. He has got on to an outlap though, has Kalsper. We're right on board though, so we try and pick up on board with somebody coming through the middle sector. Dill Warren is coming through the middle sector, and he's invalidated at the chicane. So Dill Warren has invalidated again at the chicane. That was through turn 7, that was, on the exit of the chicane. Dill Warren has invalidated his lap. He's not really going to be happy with that, and you can tell he's not going to be happy with that because his car has gone completely off, and that is why you have to get a good lap in around here. Dill Warren going to be starting no more than 9th position out on track, or no less than 9th position out on track, I should say. Chapelletti has just started up on a lap. I'm just going to try and pick up on somebody that might be towards the final sector. Yeah, the Ghost and Sean will go on board with those two. Ghost now through the middle sector. I think that's Leon Bentley just getting out the way there, or Carlsbury on an outlap, one of the two McLarens anyways. The goal coming around the final couple of corners again on a set of medium compound of tyres. Should go ahead of Spike, I think, with this lap. Goes across the line, 17.3. So he goes 7th. Nevi goes up, Sean, sorry, goes up into 9th. Nevi on a lap through the middle sector. Cass is just through the end of the middle sector. It's now nearly 8.5 up, so the Ferrari man out on track looking good. And Cass currently coming on a 17.7, so the McLaren man coming around the final couple of corners now. That is the end of qualifying. Toxic across the line, Chapelletti across the line goes 2nd with a 16 flat. Cass now coming across the line. What's his lap time going to be? He goes 4th ahead of Carlsper, knocks him down. Carlsbury coming around the, Leon Bentley coming around the final couple of corners. You can tell how pacey it is here in qualifying. Leon goes 3rd with a 16.3. We go on board though with Carlsper, the main championship leader currently coming into tonight, and he's flying through the middle sector, maybe flying a little bit too much through the middle sector, and it's a 6.5 down. Goodness me. Hopefully we are going to be seeing some good action out on track. So that is Carlsper invalidated on a lap. Carlsbury is still on a lap though, 0.5 of a second improvement. Toxic, by the way, I think has just gone, Recon, sorry, has just gone 5th with a 16.4, so he's just gone in behind Toxic on a set of mediums. What can Carlsbury do though? It's about 10 seconds from the Rolex, underneath the Rolex sign, so he should be around the 16.5 mark here out on track. Carlsbury coming across the line to 16 flat, goes 2nd, so you can tell how much I know about things. That is the end of qualifying then. Kalsper, Spike, Gort and Sean are all into the pit lane, so that means it's the end of qualifying, and it's Tar Abu who takes his first pole position. But again, I will reiterate this point, this is the exception rather than the rule. The tyres to be on is definitely on the set of mediums. Tar Abu goes to the top of the standings on his first pole position in only his second race here in TTL F1 League 1. Carlsbury in 2nd, Chapelletti in 3rd, Leon Bentley in 4th, with Toxic in 5th, Recon in 6th, Cass in 7th, Kalsper in 8th, Spike in 9th, Gort in 10th, Sean in 11th, and Navy in 12th position. Of course, I will run down that order once again in case you have missed it. And just to clarify as well, between qualifying and the race, we will run, and I will introduce through a video about the passing of Sir Sterling Moss, and I will run through that just after we pick up on the qualifying standings. Oh, and I get XP! Who would have thought it? I get XP. Fantastic. Anyways, it is Abu, who takes it on pole position. Set us off compound of tyres he's on. Carlsbury in second, 4 thousandths ahead of Chapelelli in third. Leon Bentley in fourth, with Toxic in fifth. Recon in sixth, Cass in seventh. Carlspur in eighth. Spike in ninth. Gort in 10th. Sean in 11th. Navy in 12th. Dilwarren in 13th. Lighty in 14th. And that is the rundown of the order in qualifying. So, as you guys might have been aware, sadly it marked a couple of days ago the passing of Sir Sterling Moss, and we have a 50-second video for you to play in tribute to the legendary man who never won a championship. He will be racing up there with Juan Manuel Fangio currently, so we will play that video for you now. So then, we are back, and I'm sure you agree that brought tears to your eyes. I'm sure Sir Sterling Moss will be looking down on everyone out on track tonight. 14 drivers then, here at the Hungaroring. Just an update about my co-commentator Kieran. He is not going to be making it. He hasn't resolved that technical issue he was having, so sadly won't be taking any further part in the commentary, and it will be me running solo here tonight. 35 laps though await the drivers out on track. Looking at the compound of tyres, remember the top 10 qualified on the same compound of tyre as they did in qualifying, and Sean, Navy, Dilwarren and Lighty are the exception to that. Medium compound of tyres for Sean, hard compound of tyres for Navy, Dilwarren and Lighty respectively. So you should see those guys come towards the start of, or towards the front end of the grid, towards the middle half of the race, and it is a one-stop strategy typically around here at the Hungary. At the Hungaroring at Magnell Nada Detch, and 35 laps await the drivers out on track. We should be just moments away from TTL F1 League 1 beginning for round 5 of the championship. So then, the revving engines are on. Are you ready for this? I am. Let's get going. The 5 red lights then are about to go out here for TTL F1 League 1 here in Hungary. Long hold on the lights, but it's lights out and away we go. Carlsbury gets an excellent start with Abu. They're going to be running side by side, possibly down towards turn 1. Also switching in, it's 4 wide in the background. Look at this. Carlsbury down towards turn 1, trying to get the intel on Abu though, not quite. Everyone filtering through turn 1 safely, and it's Abu who leads from Carlsbury in second. Chapelelli digs into the slipstream there in third. Toxic in fourth. Very clean start by everyone out on track. A little bit of a Constantino effect there. Chapelelli just bunching up everyone through there. I'm not sure if Leon has lost right side end plate damage there. Cass runs wide, everyone through safely though up towards turn 4, the very tricky turn 4, and everyone filtering through through very nicely indeed, and that's what we like to see. And it's Tar Abu who leads, but on a set of soft compound of tyres. Remember, those tyres will be blistered at the start of this race. Carlsbury is all over the back of him. Again, the exception rather than the rule is Abu as we go on both then with Carlsbury coming through the middle sector. Sean and Dilwarren in the meantime have swapped positions, so he's up to 10th is Sean, Dilwarren dropping down into 11th. Let's have a look at the early position gains, and Dilwarren and Navy have had a little bit of a coming together towards the back of the field. Just saw that on the mini map, we didn't catch that on board sadly. Carlsberg has gone through on recon, and that's down the inside line towards turn 13. And I do believe, actually, Recon might have white style end plate damage. Just Cass is side by side. Toxic down the inside line. Look at this coming through the final corner. Starby, who still leads at the end of lap 1 from Carlsbury in 2nd. Chappellelli in 3rd. Leon Bentley with a good start in 4th. Toxic in 5th. Cass in 6th as they come across the line. Recon and Dilwarren into the pit. And I think Navy will be into the pit as well, down in towards turn 1. And we've had a change for the lead. Tarby runs very deep there through turn 1. Carlsbury is through. Chappellelli is through as well. And the two medium runners right around the outside goes Chappellelli. Can the German do this? He can. He's through. He's up into 2nd position. That is the thing I've been saying in qualifying. Mediums work better here. Toxic down the inside line of Leon Bentley. Oh my goodness me. He cuts the corner completely there. 3-second time. Bentley side by side coming through turn 5. Both through safely, and Leon holds the position for now. Tarabu down 2 positions though at the end of at the start of lap 1. At the end of lap 1, start of lap 2 I should say. Carlsbury leading the way though from Chappellelli in 2nd. Abu in 3rd. Leon Bentley in 4th. Toxic 5th. Cass in 6th. Carlsberg in 7th. Championship leader remember is Carlsberg. And he's up a few positions early. The Gort in 8th, Sean in 9th, Spike in 10th, Lighty in 11th. We filter through Recon, Dill, Warren and Navy all respectively down the field, but a very good start nonetheless from a majority of the drivers out on track. A little bit of coming together and a little bit of a Constantino effect on lap 1, but that's what you come to expect in racing, and especially so at the Hungaroring. DRS then will be enabled onto lap 3. Carlsbury trying to break the toe on Chappellelli. Chappellelli running within the slipstream here, running down towards turn 1. Both, remember, on a set of medium compound of tyres. Toxic is down the inside on Leon Bentley. Goes very, very deep there. I'm not sure what he's trying to do with that move, but Toxic down the inside line didn't get the move done. Just committed a little bit too deep, and again, he's going to fight it quite hard down towards the inside line at turn 2. Toxic's got to be careful. Remember, the race cannot be won through lap 1. Oh, but he's round the outside through turn 4. Through turn 3 even, and Toxic gets the move done on Leon Bentley. Good move there from Toxic, right around the outside. Leon, given the camber of the corner, was always going to be on the inside line. Toxic had the run around the outside. He had the car ahead. There's a spinner in the back going. It's Sean that has gone around through turn 4. So Sean has ran through turn 4, and Carlsbury is under pressure from Chappellelli. There's a lot going on, and with me being thrown into the deep end on solo commentary, I'm trying to keep up with it all. Carlsbury leading the way though by 5/10 of a second from Chappellelli in 2nd. Abu is doing well to try and keep those softs going, but he will have to pit in sooner rather than later, I fear. Toxic is through with the 4th. Leon Bentley now in 5th, but we go on board back with the battle for the lead as the German now hunts down the Finn. It's Carlsbury against Chappellelli. These two have had some good battles in the past, and Carlsbury will be looking to hope to try and defend the position of Chappellelli. The run down the straight. Onto lap 4 we go, but look at the closing speed of Chappellelli. He's going to switch it to the outside line. This is the hard way to do it around turn 1. Can Chappellelli do it? Carlsbury on the inside line. Given the nature of the camber of the corner, it should favour the traction down towards turn 2 on the inside line. Here comes Chappellelli down the inside. Carlsbury is attacking it right around the outside. Great driving between these two, and I think Carlsbury is just about going to hold on to the position. He does. Carlsbury just about holding on to the position. Very fair, clean racing between them both. A little bit of a bum tap there from Chappellelli, but that's because Carlsbury was just purely going a little bit slow and trying to maintain the traction in that car. Toxic is getting onto the back of Tar Abu as well. Leon Bentley has been dropped actually by Toxic, now 9/10 of a second the gap there. Good racing though between Carlsbury and Chappellelli out in front. Tarbu in 3rd, Toxic 4th, Leon Bentley in 5th, Cass in 6th, Carlsberg in 7th. Remember, he's on a set of hard compound of tyres, and the only one actually within the top 10, I do believe, apart from Spike and apart from Spike, who has not yet came into pit. So they're both on a set of hard compound of tyres going in towards the halfway stage probably in this race. Toxic though, trying to eye up his teammate ahead. He's got to be careful to try and predict the move here. Chapelletti is going to go on Colsbury as well, I fear, for the lead of the race. And now trying to break the toe, actually, Colsbury down the straight. 0.2 of a second, but you can see the closing speed. Chapelletti now to the inside line this time, forces Colsbury across track to the outside line. Colsbury trying to get it done around the outside. They make a little bit of contact. Toxic is going to be through on Abu as well. He is. And Chapelletti's trying to fight around the outside. Oh, it's getting pretty dicey between these. Line again, defends it, but Chapelletti on the inside line, not going to get that one done, and Chapelletti has to bow down to Colsbury once again as he comes up towards turn 4, and these two are fighting very hard for the lead, and Chapelletti was never going to go down the inside there through turn 5. Inevitably there would have been contact, and goodness me, they're racing hard but fair out on track. Toxic is getting onto this battle as well. Don't rule out Leon Bentley. Don't rule out Cass. Abu was going to drop through the field, trust me, like a stone out of water. Quite literally out on track, he will drop through the field from probably about now. Those softs can only last around 4 or 5 laps, and you can see already just a vague sense of blistering on the right front tyre. Especially the right front around here, it does take a lot of wear and a lot of heat on those tyres, and the blistering will begin to occur, and it is actually beginning to occur on the rears as well. Abu is still going around there out on track though in 4th. Colsbury defending for the lead of the race from Chapelletti has got enough of a toe, I think, to defend down towards turn 1. 1 lap 6 here, about nearly a fifth of the way through, and it is Colsbury who leads. Chapelletti to the inside line though, not quite going to get the move done, and Leon Bentley slides it up the inside there of turn 1 to try and get the move done on Abu. In the meantime, Chapelletti has had a mistake out of turn 1, I think, and Toxic is through. So Toxic through up to 2nd position. Chapelletti down to 3rd, and Leon Bentley is through on Abu up to 4th position. Abu's trying to stay in there as much as possible. Again, it's the exception rather than the rule. Until Warren with the new fastest lap of the race with a 19.5 there. Cass is on the back now of Abu. This is the 5th position towards turn 6 and 7. No opportunity for overtaking here though. Pretty much run single file through the whole of the middle sector. And Colsbury out in front now by 7/10. Chapelletti must have run a little bit too deep down towards turn 1. I can only think he has lost position to Toxic because of that. Abu just getting caught up on the curb. Cass being held up here, and look at Colsbury on the back as well. Could be 3 wide down the straight. This possibly could be. The Red Bull fighting the Ferrari out on track. But Abu trying to maintain the position on a set of soft compound of tyres, and a set of wearing soft compound of tyres. Still can't believe he's still in 5th, but now Cass and Colsbury will range up to try and have a go at him down the straight. Colsbury leads from Toxic in 2nd, running down towards turn 1. Toxic not going to go for the move. It is going to be 3 wide down towards turn 1, and Colsbury surely not going to try and go around the outside of both of them. Cass has got the move done on Abu, and Colsbury around the outside of Abu. Abu might be the chief sufferer here. He's trying to defend hard. Colsbury down the inside line, should have the pace, should have the power to get through, and he does. Colsbury is through, and he's up to 6th, and they dispose of Abu in the end pretty easily out on track. Cass through up to 5th. Colsbury up to 6th, so position gain for them both, and now this battle will rage on for 5th as well. Back on board with the battle for the lead though, because Toxic is looking pacey out on track tonight. Hungary might be one of his expert tracks, but Toxic is beginning to deliver out on track. Chapelletti in 3rd, keeping up with him. Oh, and as soon as I say that about Toxic, he just has a bit of a half spin on the curve and gives Colsbury now a bit more of an advantage coming through turn 11. So it is Colsbury who leads. We are now a 5th of the way through here in TTL F1 League 1. It's going to go over in the blinking of an eye, trust me. There have been guys into the pits already. Recon, Dilwarren, Sean and Navy have all been into the pits. Everyone else still yet to pit on the respective compound of tyres. But now Toxic is on the back of Colsbury. Colsbury though, 0.4 of a second running down. Abu is finally into the pits. He finally relinquishes the pits on a set of softs. Here comes Toxic down to the inside on. The inside line was there for him to attack. He's not going to get the move done there. Toxic currently in 2nd. Chapelletti currently in 3rd as well. So Abu the only one into the pits. Colsbury in the meantime is right on the back of Cass, and he's trying to look to the outside line here, down towards turn 2, right around the outside he goes. Can he get the move done? Colsbury, the championship leader, down the inside on a Cass, trying to fight it hard. It's side by side as they run towards turn 4, literally blinking of an eye here of action, and Colsbury trying to get the move done around turn 5. He's not going to pull it off here, no way, and Cass holds the position on Colsbury, I should say. So Cass is through, and look at the battle happening here. Chapelletti Chapelelli, I think, is fighting too hard with Toxic. Leon Bentley is not showing him any room at all, and Leon is through around the outside of Chapelelli. It's looking a bit too tense, I've got to say, out in front here tonight. Well, Leon is through on Chapelelli. So Chapelelli, I think, trying to go down the inside, possibly a Toxic. There might have been a bit of contact between them both. No visible damage if there was any contact. But Chapelelli down to 4th position, so he's lost a position to Leon Bentley. And the guys out on track obviously will go on a set of mediums probably just before the halfway stage, where you should see the first round of pit stops happen. It's Cosby now who leads the way, and I think Toxic must have been battling with Chapelelli, because he's dropped now a couple of tenths of a second. Now Chapelelli is on the back of Leon. Leon in 3rd position, Chapelelli in 4th, Kalsper down the inside, catching a ball with that move. Kalsper is through on a set of hards, and he's up into 5th position. So remember, the delta time on these tyres will begin to come into play for the set of hards. So Kalsper is at a bigger distinct advantage, I think, in coming towards the end of towards the second stint as they go on in the second half of the race. Kalsper will have the significant advantage on this track ahead of everyone else on a set of mediums around him. He should use that pace down to catch onto Chapelelli, and especially if Chapelelli battles with Leon, Kalsper I could see picking up a possible podium out on track tonight. Of course, he pitted down further through the field, but he's doing a good job out on track. By the way, Abu pitted and he's out in P10, so he's about 2 seconds ahead of Recon at this stage. Cosby will lead. 8 tenths of a second out on track from Toxic in 2nd, Leon Bentley in 3rd, Chapelelli in 4th. What I'm going to do then is have a look through the comment section and see how you guys are doing on this fine Thursday evening. Again, just to reiterate, no Kieran alongside me here tonight. It is a shame. I want them to be alongside me, and I'm sure you guys want them to be alongside me too. But here is Chapelelli down the inside of Leon Bentley. This is going to be a plain sailing move down the inside. Can Leon get the switch back? He could, but the traction is always going to favour the brave round turn 2. And now Chapelelli is through, and he's up into 3rd position. Beautiful exit out of the corner, got the job done. Chapelelli through, he's up to 3rd. Toxic on the back of Carlsbury for the lead of the race as well. Let's have a look then at the comments section and see how you guys are doing on this fine Thursday evening. And having a look, do you need a co-commentator I can join? Honestly, I don't. I think I'll be fine. I've got a bit of a sore throat and I feel like absolute crap here today. But honestly, I'm here and I'm commentating and I'm loving it. Toxic is on the back of Carlsbury for the lead of the race. Chapelelli in 3rd, Leon Bentley in 4th out on track. And just to talk about what has been actually happening to me, I feel... Oh, and Leon Bentley's round in the background. Leon is round in the background. Just saw that in the back of shots. Looked like he got caught on the outside curb coming through turn 11, and Leon Bentley is out of the race. That is unfortunate. I think he was on a set of medium compounder tyres at the time, running in 4th position just behind Chapelelli. Toxic though was on the back of Carlsbury, and Carlsbury's a sitting duck down the straight. Toxic playing through down the inside, but it's Carlsbury down the inside line. All the McLaren and Red Bull make contact, running down towards turn 2. Toxic got the DRS, should have the move done. Cosby switches to the inside line, they make contact. Cosby trying to go for a gap that's not really there. It's very hard racing between these two. I honestly think this is going to get quite dicey. Toxic and Cosby. Cosby will have to surely give way, and he does. Toxic through and he's into the lead of the race. But now these two beginning to battle hard. It's going to leave Chapelelli in a very good position out on track, because he's only a second off. He's in much clearer air. He will catch these two in the shape of a couple of corners out on track, in the space of a couple of corners out on track. Chapelelli through and he's up into 3rd position. So, Leon Bentley out of the race. The first DNF out of the race, I'm afraid to say, but Leon was doing his best out on track, and that's all that can be asked, I think, of the drivers. Beautiful helicopter cam there. By the way, it is Toxic who now leads the way from Carlsbury in 2nd. Carlsbury really just trying to go for a move down there at turn 2. For a gap that's not really his, and I've got to be honest, I think Chapelelli is going to try and market this up for a possible move later on in the race. Remember, these guys have got to pit, and all of this is doing is bringing Carlsper into play, the championship leader into play through turn 4, and there's a Mercedes off, and that's a very weird place to go off at. That is Dill Warren, who is off track. Look, he couldn't have got caught on the curb there, I don't think. Might be a bit of a failure, possibly, for Dill Warren. He might have got caught on the outside curb and then spun it, possibly. I'm not sure. So Dill Warren is out of the race and has crashed it, and it looks like it might be a setup, possibly, that has gone wrong for Warren. That's all I can imagine it to be, but Warren is out of the race. Chapelelli is on the back of Carlsbury. Toxic currently leading the way, Carlsbury second, Chapelelli in third, Carlsberg in fourth, Cass in fifth, Gort in sixth. The top three separated by about a second, 1.3 seconds currently out on track. We'll go on board though with a battle that's developing back through the field, because Navy is on the back of Sean, trying to switch it to the inside line through turn one. He will have the traction on those centre medium compounded tyres, and now it is yellow wall against white wall down towards turn two. Sean tries to cut the gap open, but Navy right around the outside. He's went onto the marble. A little bit of glitching inside, side by side up towards turn four, and it looks like Navy, I think, has got this move done. He has! Navy is through, and he's up into 11th position. Picks up a 3-second time penalty, as does Sean, but fantastic move there by Navy. It is a track to be bold and braver, and that was bold and brave from Navy to get the move done. He's up into 11th. Toxic back on board with the battle for the lead. Toxic leads from Carlsbury in second, Chapelelli in third. And Chapelelli is probably rubbing his hands in that cockpit at this stage, trying to close in on Toxic and Carlsbury, but the front two have just got a bit of a buffer gap, as we like to call it. The straight is not long enough around here for the guys in behind to try and get the overtake done, unless they've got a very good car setup out on track. Cass has picked up a time penalty through turn four, so he's picked up a 3-second time penalty there. Toxic still leads the way, Carlsbury in second, Chapelelli in third. And if you're just tuning in to the action here in Magna Nadadec, to give it its full name, of course, the Hungary Ring, I am James Tate, going to be taking you through the action as I have done for the last 13 laps or so. No Kieran McGinley alongside me, sadly a technical issue befouling him, but you haven't missed that much, to be honest. Quite a few good overtakes out on track, but Chapelelli is on the back of Carlsbury. Toxic and Carlsbury and Chapelelli into the pits. So Chapelelli then into the pits from third position. Smart move is all I'm going to say, I think, with that one. Chapelelli into the pits. Smart move, I think, coming into the pits. Cass is also in. The medium's now beginning to wear. Just shy of halfway, I said they were going to pit. And exactly that. So Chapelelli is into the pits. Probably onto a set of hards now. Maybe until the end of the race. They can last quite a long time around here, the set of hard compound of tyres. Cass is also onto a set of hards. That now promotes Gort, Spike and Lighty up positions. And Chapelelli is miles ahead out of Tar Abu. And Tar Abu is going to be ahead, I think, of Cass. And so is Recon, I do believe, as well. Side by side coming out of the pit lane. Cass on the inside line, Recon on the outside line. The overspeed will tell the difference here, and Recon is through, and he's up into 9th position. So was undercutting, but remember, Recon will have to pit, and just throws a bit of a spanner into the works in terms of Cass's strategy now out on track. He's on much fresher tyres. You should expect him to try and get the move done sooner rather than later, but Cass has just got to be careful. Those tyres will not warm up immediately. They will take 2 to 3 laps probably to warm up properly and then get the good lap times being set out on track. Recon just hops over the curb there. Cass is on the back of him. The Dane and the Dutchman and the Norwegian ahead. Toxic is into the pits, Carlsbury into the pits. So the 2 leaders in. Carlsberg now to be in the lead of the race for the first time here tonight. Carlsberg will lead the race on to lap 15, until lap 16 I should say it will be. No, lap 15, I am right. Tarbu, Recon and Castle fighting it out for 8th, 9th and 10th. This will be, I think, for position for possible P4 out on track. That's a tentative P4 as I say that. So a tentative P4 battle possibly, a net P4 battle. Toxic is out of the pits. Chapelelli is right behind him, I think. Yeah, Chapelelli right behind Toxic coming out of the pits, but about 2 seconds I think there. And now, oh, Recon moves across on Cass. Not sure if that was left side end plate damage there. It looked like Recon was getting the run on Tar Abu. Tar Abu looked like he stayed straight. Recon then moved out to try and get the move done on a 13-lap-old set of hards. I'm not sure what we'll be trying to do, to be honest, if we was trying to get that move done. But Cass is on the back now of Recon. And running here out on track, Cass is on the back of Recon. And it's currently 9th and 10th. But Cass will be hoping for an opportunity to get the move done on Recon for that position. Toxic now on the back of Lighty. Toxic has just came out of the pits. 10th behind. He's going to switch it to the inside line here, down towards turn 12. Job done. Beautiful ride on board there with Toxic. Gets the job done down the inside line. He has picked up, I think, 6 seconds worth time penalties here tonight. Galt is into the pits from a set of mediums. The Toxic through on Light T, and he's up into 4th position. Schiaparelli is up next for Light T. Don't think the German Light T will put up a fight to his fellow countrymen, but you never know here in the racing. Toxic running adjacent to the pit wall there. Fastest lap of the race actually by Schiaparelli, 19.5. And right in behind, Recon and Cass battling out for 8th and 9th. Cass to the outside line. Recon very late on the brakes, maybe a little bit too late there. And again, trying to chance his luck. It's a little bit like poker, to be honest, for Recon, I think, out on track. Just trying to chance his luck a little bit too much, I think. Just got to try and bear with, I think, out on track behind Tabu. I know he's desperate to get past, and it's nothing more frustrating than a driver trying to get past another one in front on much fresher, on much older tyres, albeit. Recon trying to get through on Tabu. It is so frustrating to try and get through on a driver ahead, because you do feel like you've got the pace, but just a little bit of calmness, I think, there, possibly from Recon on the back of Tabu. And of course Cass will be on the back, but look at this. Carlsbury is closed right onto the back of Schiaparelli. Schiaparelli down the inside of IT, same move as what Toxic did last time out, and he's through. And Carlsbury just held up there, sliding the fin. He's trying to go all the way around the outside of the hairpin at turn 13. Never going to get this move done. He's got the traction though. Could be up the inside line down into 14. No, but Lighty is going to hold up Carlsbury a treat here. This is going to give Schiaparelli the oomph to go now out on track. Toxic new fastest lap of the race, 19 flat, and Carlsbury is through on Lighty. So Carlsbury through on Lighty, and he's through and he's up to 5th position. That is for a net 3rd out on track, and now Carlsbury can now set his sight on Schiaparelli. And with that little bit of a hold up, it hasn't given him much of a buffer time at all. It's about 9/10 of a second for Schiaparelli to Carlsbury out on track. But here is Recon down the inside line of Tabu. Patience is the prevailing factor, but patience again is not the prevailing factor. Recon down the inside line. Looked like Tabu might have just cut across sadly, and Recon is out of the session. So Recon has left the session in a little bit of a rage there, if I've got to be honest. It looked like Tabu was defending that position just that little bit too hard, I think, for my liking out on track. And I think that's why Recon has probably left the session overall. I mean, he's in a point scoring position. I'm not sure why he would leave in a point scoring position, but still, Cass is on the back of Abu now. So that now gives the Dane an opportunity to try and get past Tar Abu, and hopefully better luck than Recon for Cass. And the Dane is on the back of Tar Abu, Norwegian and the Dane, so it's a bit of a Scandinavian battle here for 7th and 8th position currently out on track. Toxic is closing up though on the back of Spike. This should be a job done down towards turn 1. You can see the closing speed. The Red Bull just saunters past Spike. No opportunity to come back there for Spike, and he's through and he's up in 2 seconds. So Toxic making mincemeat, I think, of guys who he's still yet to pit out on track. Good move there, and he's through. Cass is on the back of Abu still. Again, not close enough actually, Cass to the back of Abu. Abu just looks like he's got the pace coming within those tyres. But Cass is going to have to try and hold his firm and hold his ground on the back of Abu. But we are now through halfway here in TTL F1. It is Carlsberg who leads. Still yet to pace, albeit, but he still leads. From Toxic in 2nd, Spike now in 3rd, Schiaparelli in 4th, Carlsbury in 5th, Abu in 6th, Cass in 7th, with Gort in 8th, Lighty in 9th, Recon in 10th, Navy in 11th, and Sean in 12th position. A reminder to everyone that is tuning in, it is TTL F1 action here at the Hungaro Ring, and we're about to go on to lap 19, I do believe, with Carlsberg out in front. But the action just beginning to unfold through the second half of the race, and Cass, if you run on board, is still on the back of Abu out on track. Just right on board then with some of the comments that have been coming through, and thank you to everyone for commenting. And of course F1 2020 was released, or the first information of F1 2020 was released. Get talking about that within the comment section as well. Cass is on the back though of Abu, and this probably one of the easiest moves you might see all night. Dane through on the Norwegian, Cass make sure of it this time and gets the move done. He's up into 5th position. Abu will try and battle back, but he's not going to try and battle back because Cass has got the DRS, so he's through and he's up into 5th position. And again, a pretty clean sailing move there, if I've got to be honest. We've seen plenty of those so far here tonight. I want to see hard battling and fair racing out on track. Sean has just gone through on Recon's AI, so Recon's AI now down into that 12th position. There's nothing really happening out on track. Let's speak on board then with the current net battle for the lead out on track. It is Toxic, 11.1 seconds behind Carlsberg out on track, but it's 2 seconds the gap to Schiaparelli. And for the benefit, I think, for all of you guys, as Carlsberg is actually into the pits, we'll focus on the voltage first. We'll see where he comes out. I think he'll come out probably ahead of Cass here quite easily, but it remains to be seen. 24 seconds the gap. I'm not sure how long a pit stop is around here at the Hungaro ring. Carlsberg into the pits. Toxic going past him, so is Schiaparelli and so is Carlsberg. And I think, absolutely perfect my prediction, Carlsberg is going to be miles out ahead of Cass. So, Carlsberg out in 4th, set of mediums, 15 laps, game on for a possible win here for Carlsberg. I don't think he would have been saying that when he qualified in 7th or 8th position in qualifying out on track. So what we'll do then, for the benefit of everyone, and we'll run through the race director to see what is going on out on track. Toxic has got 2 penalties, but hasn't picked up a warning for a while. Schiaparelli has picked up 2 penalties as well, so it's even between the 2 leaders. Carlsberg hasn't picked up anything, good to see. Carlsberg hasn't, he's picked up a warning, but good to see nonetheless. Cass has picked up a penalty. Tar Abu has picked up a 5-second time penalty. Gort has picked up a warning, good to see. Spike has picked up 2 penalties, he's just picked another one up there. Lighty has picked up 2 warnings, good to see. Sean has picked up a penalty. Recon has picked up a 8-second penalty, but he's still going around out on track. And Navy, I think, has just came back into the pits for a set of mediums, so that is why he's dropped down past now Recon. And I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, he did pit in there. Yeah, Navy did pit in, and he's down into 11th position. But again, he has got limited penalties. It is Toxic who leads 3/5 of the way through here in Hungary. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying out on track so far. We've seen some good clean sailing moves down the straight down towards turn 1, and really it has been good action. Spike, new fastest lap of the race, 18.8. You will see the lap times begin to come down on that set of medium compounded tyres. Probably a second going to be separating, I think, between hards and mediums. Toxic, another penalty, just running out wide there through turn 4. He picks up the penalty there, and that is really his downfall, I think, out on track. Just running wide slightly through turn 4 and running over the curb like that is not going to fill him up with any confidence at all out on track. And I think Toxic is now going to be struggling possibly to overcome Schiaparelli, but the penalties will prove to be quite key, I think, out on track tonight. Sander coming in, by the way, and sitting in the comments section. I think Abu has a master plan of a strategy. I will tend to disagree with that because he's been overtaken by Cass. He's now a bit in no man's land, to be honest. He's in 6th. He had I'm not going to criticise Abu by saying this, but I think he had totally the wrong strategy from qualifying, and that's why he's ended up in that position. But it's a good game plan nonetheless. Don't get me wrong, it's a good game plan, trying to switch it up. But I think it's the wrong game plan. You can see the guys ahead of him. I want a set of hard compounded tyres now. He's now on a set of hards, but he put it in way too early. Way too early. He will get a puncture, I think, towards the end of the race. That is my prediction right there. Spike is on the back though of Gort, coming down towards turn 1. Cloud cover beginning to increase here at the Hungaro ring. The sun has just gone in behind the clouds. Toxic leads by 2 seconds, but remember that 3-second additional penalty for Toxic that he's carrying. Schiaparelli is currently in the lead of the race, in theory, out on track. Carlsberg, by the way, is absolutely flying. He is catching right onto the back of Carlsberg. 1.1 seconds separating the guys out on track. Spike through the first sector, though, on the back of the Gort. And the Gort's running a storming race, I've got to say, in 7th. Very, very close, actually, to one of his personal bests here, I think, in TTL F1. So he's done a fantastic job. He's now under pressure from Spike, and again, mediums against hards, it's pretty much a no contest, to be honest. But knowing the Gort, he can defend a position well, and Spike will be looking to try and get this move done sooner rather than later as he comes through towards turn 12. Can he get the opportunity done here? No, he's going to wait for the DRS zone. Just also goes a little bit deep into the corner. And now Spike all over the back. Calsper, new fastest lap of the race. We go on board with Calsper running down the straight. Can he eye up a move here on Carlsbury? He can't. A little bit too deep into the corner as well, but he's on much fresher tyres. We go back on board then with Spike, who was on the back over the Gort. I don't think Carlsbury is going to be close enough to Carlsbury. They've just gone through Recon's AI, and Spike now on the outside line of the Gort. Spike around the outside, much fresher tyres. Gort gives him the room to complete the move around the outside. He gets the job done, and it's all kicking off, and Calsper's around the outside. Calsper around the outside, coming through turn 4. I'm not sure what happened between those two. Trying to cut on 2 battles at once. Just managed to get on board with the right moment. Calsper is through, and he's up into P3. So those mediums coming alive, coming the outs on track. And goodness knows, I think Calsper could possibly win this race, judging by the tyres that he's actually on. He is inferior, about 10-15% better off on those tyres as the guys ahead of him. He's got to use this Carlsbury down into 4th. Not sure, he must have made a little bit of a mistake coming out of turn 3 for Calsper to get the move, but on much fresher tyres. Getting the move done there, Calsper. Good job, and he's up into 3rd position. He's now 4.6 seconds off the lead. It's like a rampaging elephant coming out on track for Calsper. 11 laps to go. Toxic lead from Chapelelli in 2nd, Calsper in 3rd. Let's just have a look at the position changes, actually, and see where these guys have actually came in. And looking at the field, a majority of guys have gained a position or 2, or 5 in the case of Calsper and Light T, who have gained 5 positions off the start. And very good to see. A lot of positives, I think, out on track in terms of, in terms of the tyre strategy. That was a very unexpected little burp there from me. I do apologise. Sean is into the pits. He's not pitting, he's on a set of hards, I think, coming in. Yeah, he's going on to a set of probably soft compounded tyres maybe towards the end of the race. Or does he play it cool actually and go for a set of mediums? No, he goes for a set of softs, so Sean onto a set of soft compounded tyres. In the meantime though, Toxic, Chapelelli 1.8 seconds down on track. Calsper beginning to bridge in that gap, but the gap, if you've noticed, over the last lap or so, has not significantly decreased, but it has decreased to an extent where Chapelelli and Toxic are beginning to get into a little bit of a no man's land situation. They're keeping the gap so consistent. Calsper is not catching the guys ahead, or currently not catching the guys ahead, but saying that, he's just gained a 10th coming through the first couple of corners, so we'll see how Calsper gets on. Just going to mute my mic, by the way, for 30 seconds. I'm just going to use my nasal inhaler and hopefully try and get me through the rest of this commentary. Calsper, the prey is in front of him. He's on a set of medium compound tyres, and Chapelelli is now beginning to feel the pressure. It's 1.2 seconds the gap between Calsper and Chapelelli, and it's 2.9 seconds the gap between 1st and 3rd out on track. If all of this kicks off, Carlsbury could be within a chance possibly to pick up a podium out on track. Remember, the penalties can really prove a point. If there's no battling, I will cover the penalties on the final 2 laps of the race, and of course it will help out Honey Badger, who is beautifully taking us through the graphics here tonight. And a big thanks, of course, to Honey Badger for being here and to do the graphics for us. You might have seen the new track map, etc., and of course the running of the Sir Sterling Moss video, who I'm sure will be looking down on every single person here out on track tonight, and I'm sure he will be very pleased to see the cars going around in his beloved sport. Calsper is on the back of Chapelelli, 9 laps to go. Are we going to get as a thriller as what we did in TTL F2, where I went high pitched and goodness me, I nearly lost my voice, quite literally. Calsper on the back of Chapelelli. Could be one of those moments, I think, this one. 9 laps to go. It is setting up to be a grandstand finish here for the top 3 out on track. Nobody else is really close enough in behind to try and pull off the move. Sean might close in on Navy towards the end of the race, but I don't see that gap coming down as much as what you would expect. Set of softs against centre mediums, of course, those two. But now Carlsberg, eyes up, his next target. He's got the sniper on the back of that Toro Rosso, and he's about to shoot down Schiaparelli for second position. It's coming through the final corner now, through turn 14, and you can probably sense where this one's going. Goodness me, the turn of speed is literally like Usain Bolt in the 100 metres. Carlsberg is through, and he's up into second position, and Schiaparelli had absolutely got in no chance to try and get that back. Schiaparelli, no chance to get that back. Carlsberg through, and he's up to second. But now he can acquire another target, and this time it is the top of the mountain. Carlsberg on the back of Toxic, 1.7 seconds to catch. Toxic, remember, with all the penalties currently, will be favouring in the likes of Carlsberg and possibly Carlsberg, because I think Schiaparelli is in or around the same in and around the same time in terms of penalties as Toxic in the lead of the race. So these two will be missing out. I think maybe one of them at least on a podium, actually out on track. Toxic leading the way, 1.5 seconds. Carlsberg is gaining through the middle sector. He is so much more confident on that fresher set of tyres. But now, because the laps are beginning to ebb away, it will switch essentially from a set of hards towards a set of mediums. Watch out for the last 4 laps, I think, especially. Carlsberg needs to gain the time now, more than ever, to try and get the move done on Toxic. He's not going to be close enough this lap around. But what I mean is, and he's just at the fastest lap of the race to prove that, the mediums will eventually go off. The hard compounded tyres will then begin to come into play. 21 laps on a set of hards is very hard indeed. There's a yellow flag in sector 3 there, and I think that might have been Spike who has made a slight mistake. Yes, Spike has made a slight mistake there coming through on the mini-map. I saw that. Spike through the middle sector then on the back, and now here comes the Gort. Gort to the outside line. Spike on the inside line. Looking to try and get the move done, and he has, I think. Yep, so Gort round the outside there, getting the move done, and Spike comes through up to 7th position. Sean has just left the session and disconnected. Toxic leading the way though. Carlsberg in second, but look at the gap now. I was saying about the set of hards beginning to come into play, and you know what, 1.8 seconds, that gap has stayed very consistent through the opening 2 sectors of lap 28 out on track. 1.7 seconds. Carlsberg again needs to gain the time now, but I think those mediums are now beginning to go off. You can tell because Schiaparelli is catching Carlsberg behind him, and this will tell a big difference towards the end of the race. Schiaparelli could potentially get back past Carlsberg for second position if it's going as it is, which I think it probably will be. I think that is going to play out to be quite an interesting battle. Speaking of interesting battles, Gort, Spike and Lighty. Sets for 7th, 8th and 9th coming the action track. Just Lighty up a little bit. Oh, having a bit of an opposite lock moment coming through the final corner. A little bit of oversteer there, nearly going slightly into the Armco barrier. Spike is on the back of Gort. Gort going to defend the inside line. Schiaparelli same penalties now as Toxic. Spike around the outside, beautiful move. Gort broke earlier for the corner. Spike gets the move done round the outside. Clean sailing move. We've seen plenty of those tonight. Plenty of clean action out on track, and Spike is through, and he's up into 7th out on track, and the Racing Point man through. Carlsberg then beginning to put the hammer down. He's pulled 7/10 on Schiaparelli. He is gaining on Carlsberg, but the advantage I think could lie with Toxic. Toxic I think has got to stay in behind Recon's AI car. And he doesn't, but he could have picked up, he would have picked up DRS if he stayed behind him. He had a gap too, but Recon obviously Recon's AI going so slow around on track, he could have used that to his advantage actually, Toxic. He hasn't got the DRS, but Carlsberg does. Carlsberg does, and he's outside of the second to Toxic. He got that off Recon's AI car. So Carlsberg beginning to sense, possibly, that Toxic might be the weak link out in front. And now Carlsberg down towards turn 2, 7.5 tenths. That AI of Recon, I'm sure he will be thanking him later for that. So as we come towards the end of the first sector. 27.6, 400ths off his time. Currently Kalsper out on track. Toxic wide about line. And Kalsper on the inside line there. And the outside line actually prevailing there for Toxic coming through. But halfway through, lap 30 out on track. We will have 4 more laps to go after this one. 4.5 now currently if you're being picky. Kalsper's on the back of Toxic for the lead of the race. Are we going to get a grandstand showdown between Toxic and Kalsper once again here in TTL F1? It was Toxic and Blizzard in TTL F2. It's now Kalsper and Toxic possibly in TTL F1 League 1. But this time it's in Hungary, and this time again it's for the lead of the race, and Toxic will be hoping to God it's not a role reversal from that it is a role reversal from TTL F2, where we had that legendary final lap of a race between Blizzard and Toxic. Go and watch that back if you haven't caught it already. Kalsper is on the back of Toxic, and 5/10 of a second. He's getting closer. We'll go back on board with Lighty, who's trying to chase down the Ghost. 6/10 of a second. Kept us extending out there slightly. Lighty may be beginning to lose the tyres. 16 up on a set of mediums is hard to do, but should get those towards the end. It's 4/10 off running down the straight. Opens up the DRS, not going to be close enough for the move. Sean's AI car has just came out just in behind those guys. And Navy actually running now in the points. A bit of grass being kicked up there by Toxic, just running onto the curb a little bit too much. But Kalsper is on the back of him, and it's hunting him down. 4/10 of a second, the gap. 3.5 the gap. Kalsper beginning to sense him up. 80% against 37% in terms of ERS. And remember about the ERS deployment, the energy recovery system. Whenever they break into the corner, they recover the energy within the car. And I'm sure Kalsper is going to deploy this energy right here, right now, for the lead of the race. They come down the straight then. 4 more laps to go. 3 more laps to go, in fact, and Kalsper. 4 more laps to go, and Kalsper now will lead the leader. Will take the lead of the race, and Kalsper is through down the inside line. Toxic going to try and switch it back through turn 1. He's not going to try and get it, but Kalsper is down through, and he's up into the lead of the race. But now Toxic has got to try and pressurise and push those tyres of the mediums to the limit. He's on a set of hards. He's trying to desperately catch back up, but in turn could end himself. Oh, a bit of a roll on there, bit of a near half spin coming through turn 4 there. Gort has been overtaken by Light T. Side by side down towards turn 1. Oh, and the Gort and Light T making a little bit of contact. I'm not sure if Gort meant that. Yeah, he gives up the position. Good sportsmanship shown there by Lighty. But Gort down the inside line. Nobody wants to take his position, it seems. And Lighty round the outside gets the job done. Gort eventually, I think, letting him have that one. A little bit of contact through turn 1. I think Gort tried to go for the move. Man had locked up into the corner. Lighty had the move done. Got up the inside line. Gort up the inside line, I should say, and he tried to get the move done, but he didn't, and he just locked up, and again he's just carrying a little bit too much speed into the corners. Lighty then trying to desperately fight off the attentions of Gort currently. 9/10 of a second out on track. Kalsper leads from Toxic in second, Schiaparelli in third. Top 3 I think may be staying as they are. I'm not sure about the penalties. We're right on board though with Gort. He's trying to desperately hold in there on Lighty. I'll come on to the penalties in just a second. It will help out, of course, Honey Badger with the winner graphic. And Gort on the back of Lighty. I think he's going to be close enough here for the move. We'll run it down towards turn 2, and then we'll go on board with the penalties. Yeah, Gort's not going to be close enough here, and I don't think he's going to size him down into turn 2 either, but you never know. Been wrong before. Gort on the back of Lighty, yeah, not close enough here. So, Lighty down into 8th position. Let's have a run down then, as we see Kalsper and Toxic battling in the background of shot. Kalsper currently has 1 warning. 1 warning. Toxic with 9 seconds worth of penalties. Schiaparelli with 12 seconds worth of penalties. So Carlsbury, if he hasn't got any penalties other than that, then he should get third. Carlsbury has got 2 warnings. He will be gaining. And I think he'll gain on Toxic as well. Cass has got a penalty. Tar Abu, 5-second time penalty, which I don't think has been served up. So 5-second time penalty there for Tar Abu, who has drove a very good race actually. Spike has picked up 3 penalties, including the one on that lap. Light T has got 2 warnings, good to see. The Goat has got 2 warnings, good to see. And Navy, the final human running car out on track, has got 2 out on track. So as it stands, Carlsberg will be winning this race, and he's done it the hard way out on track. Remember Carlsberg, the championship leader, started in 8th position in qualifying and was outdone early on in the early stage of the race. But Carlsberg has played this race to absolute perfection. He has delivered his challenge at the right time. It's now coming around the final couple of corners, and it will be to start the final lap of the race. Carlsberg now coming around the final corner for the penultimate time out on track, and Toxic is on the back. 1.3 seconds as they come across the line, and Carlsberg leads onto the final lap of the race from Toxic in second. I'm just going to flick on board though with Lighty and Ghost. They're still looking quite close, these two, the German and the Brit. A little bit of contact earlier on in the race, a couple of laps ago, but now the Ghost is on the back of Lighty, 0.3 of a second, and he's all over the back of him. Maybe it's beginning to change fortunes. The hards will favour in terms of the mediums here, and Gort could be sizing him up. He looks a little bit smoother than Lighty. Lighty getting the run through the final corner. Gort though on the back. We'll switch the leaders in just a minute, but now Gort sizing up an opportunity possibly. Don't think he hasn't got the closing speed down the straight, and Gort will have to hold on for 9th position. He could try and move down into turn 2, but I think other than the final corner to try and have a go at, there's no real opportunities for overtaking. And the Gort's not going to get the move done there, so Lighty will hold on, I think, for 8th position out on track. But now, coming around the final couple of corners, Carlsberg, who has really delivered this race to perfection. Carlsberg 3-second time penalty. I don't think it'll affect Toxic and Chapelletti though. In the meantime, Carlsberg ran the final corner. The Brit has dominated here in Hungary. Beautifully timed challenge. He wins in Hungary. Carlsberg wins from Toxic in second, but watch out for the penalties. Chapelletti and Carlsberg, I think, is going to get possibly second, maybe third. Across the line, Carlsberg third. 3 seconds off Toxic in the end. So Carlsberg third. Cass has run a very good race there in 5th. The Dane picking up the loose points really for 10 points actually out on track, and the Dane has really came alive. Tar Abu has somehow got 28 lap old hards to the end and finishes with a 5-second time penalty, but Spike again with those penalties coming in. The Gort is right on the back of Lighty. Better come across the line, and they stay as they are, I think. Lighty jumps Spike, but stays ahead of Gort, just to clarify that. 7th, 8th and 9th. Lighty, Gort and Spike. And Navy, the final human car out on track, is going to be coming around the final corner, and he will be picking up for 10 points. For 10th position for 1 point, I should say. Navy across the line finishes in 10th, but that is the race over and done with here in Hungary. What a race out on track, and it is Carlsberg who takes the win. 2 wins in a row, 3 for the season, and he extends his championship lead. So, to the top of the podium goes Carlsberg out on track. And a phenomenal race actually out on track. We saw a lot of good overtaking. Carlsberg, the top step of the podium. Unlucky for Toxic with the penalties in the end. Penalties cost them again in TTL F1. The finishes in second, and Carlsberg gaining on Chapelletti for third. Chapelletti drove a very good race though. And every point scoring finisher should be very proud of their performance out on track tonight. As we see the final rundown of the order. It is Carlsberg from 8th position on the grid. Probably arguably my driver of the day for sure. Carlsberg wins in Hungary. From Toxic in second. Carlsberg in third. With Chapelletti in 4th. Look at the times actually for Carlsberg and Chapelletti, the fastest laps. 19.264, 19.241. Very close indeed. Cass in 5th. Tar Abu from pole position in 6th. Drove well. Alternate strategy worked to an extent. Lighty in 7th. Good gain actually of positions from 14th on the grid up to 7th. Good points haul for him. Gort in 8th with Spike in 9th and Navy rounding off the top 10. Sean, Recon, the two non-human cars finishing 11th and 12th. Of course, they don't pick up any points. They're being out of the point scoring positions. And two DNFers out on track. It's still Warren and Leon Bentley, who I'm sure will look back on this race and probably think, well, next week will be better. I'm sure of that. So, Dill Warren and Leon Bentley there down in 13th and 14th. But I hope everyone enjoyed the action out on track, of course, with the news that the lockdown will continue on for another 3 weeks here. We are going to be providing you with a lot more action here on TTTV. And the next time you will see us live, you will see me live as well, it's tomorrow night. It is TTL F1 League 2. It is turn for the League 2 guys to take to the Hungary ring at Magnal Nadadec. And we will see you there tomorrow night, of course, myself and Paco Suarez from 8 PM UK time. Probably a little bit earlier in terms of the stream, but from 8 PM UK time, you will see action out on track for the TTL F1 League 2 around here at Hungary. A shame that Kieran couldn't join me for commentary. I'm sure the technical issues will be fixed for next week. It's a shame, but I'm sure the issues will be sorted out for next week, and I'm sure he will be back alongside me to deliver another great commentary. And next week for TTL F1, just to remind you of the calendar going forward here in TTL F1, let me confirm the calendar and let me get it up for now. So from Hungary, we literally go a couple of hundred miles or a couple of thousand miles to Belgium. We go to Spa-Francorchamps next week for both League 1 and League 2. Then we go to Italy for round 7 of the championship at Monza. Singapore, the Marina Bay Street Circuit, in for round 8 of the championship. That's in 3 weeks' time. Russia for round 9 of the championship. Then it's USA for the penultimate round, and then it's Brazil, where hopefully we will crown our champion there and then, and not a couple of rounds earlier. Brazil will be for round 11, and also the Challenge Cup event will be covered live, 100% feature, 100% race around the British Grand Prix circuit. Very challenging, I think that'll be, but we will see you hopefully next week for Belgium. So from me, James Head, I will bid you farewell. Thank you very, very much for watching. Please stay home. Please stay safe. Save lives. Protect the NHS. Protect your health service as well. Thank you very much for watching. And until next time, goodbye.